Welp, I never thought I'd be doing this, but here I am, reviewing other people's custom Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I should probably warn you right off the bat that I'm not really interested in custom cards, nor am I particularly good at reviewing things. Why am I here then? Because capitalism makes fools of us all, comrade. High-tier patrons get to request content, and for some reason one Mr. Leafbladie decided that instead of requesting something I'm known for, like a deck build challenge, or something that I've at least done before, like a Let's Play, he wanted me to make a video looking at some of his custom cards. And as the old saying goes, I ain't gay, but $20 is $20, you know what I mean? Anyway, he gave me a couple sets of cards to look at, including some Guardian support of all things, but for the sake of your time and my sanity, I decided to look instead at a small group of 5 cards he made to support the Egyptian gods. I mean, who doesn't like those guys, am I right? They're from the anime, very powerful, very recognizable, it'll look good on the thumbnail, there are probably other reasons. Anyway, it's a nice, neat little package, arguably better than some of the stuff Konami has put out recently, though I suppose I'll leave that up to you to decide down in the comments. To start things off, we have a trio of synergistic retrains: Queen's Poker Knight, King's Poker Knight, and Jack's Poker Knight. Why are they Poker Knights? I don't know. Something to do with the anime, maybe? I don't really watch the anime, so I can't say for sure, but if it were up to me, I would have gone for something like Divine Knights, or God Knights, or perhaps Egyptian Knights, to fit with the theme. Names aside, these 3 form a nice little engine, not unlike the Wind Witches of ye olden times. Check it out. If you control no monsters, you can special summon the Red Queen from your hand, who immediately searches the King in yellow, who can be special summoned from your hand if you control the Queen. When King is summoned by his effect, you can summon Blue Jack straight out of the deck, who lets you excavate your top 3 cards, add any divine monster you find among them, and then tribute summon a divine monster in addition to your normal summon / set. Now before you start getting any cheeky ideas, all of these share the same restrictions, which are, they can't be tributed except for the summon of a divine monster, so no easy Monarch setups for you. Oh, and also the only monsters you can summon out of the extra deck are Joker monsters, so if you were thinking about link spamming with them, joke's on you, all you can make is this thing. Which, to be fair, is not terrible, considering you can make it for free if you draw Queen's Poker Knight. This is not a custom card, by the way. This thing already exists in the game, if you didn't know, but it's worth going over since it's the only Link monster with Joker in the name. It's got 2800 attack, 2 downwards-facing arrows, hey, and there's no restriction about using it as Link material, so maybe you could use this as a Link engine? Possibly? Granted, in Master Rule 420, only Pendulums and Links need arrows, and I don't think there's any respectable Pendulum or Link deck that would run an engine with 2 Garnets just for Arcana extra Joker, but, you know, feel free to let me know how wrong I am down in the comments. I'm sure there's something. I don't exactly have the time to look over every Pendulum and Link deck in the game. Regardless, that's not the end of these monsters' effects. In addition to setting up for the summon of an Egyptian god, they each do one more thing, which is to make said god monster unable to be targeted or destroyed. Technically, the red one protects Slifer, the blue one only works on Obelisk, and the yellow only on Ra, but considering you're most likely going to have all 3 on the field, it might as well just say monsters summoned by tributing these cards can't be targeted or destroyed. Oh, also, the yellow one makes Ra gain attack equal to all the monsters tributed for its summon, which is apparently something Ra did on its own in the anime, but the tournament legal version of the card neglected to include that effect. Either way, it's here now, and honestly, with how outdated the god cards are, giving one nearly 5k attack seems like a fine option. Overall, a pretty good trio of cards. It's a bit linear, but it does exactly what you want it to. I imagine fans of the Egyptian gods would quite enjoy having an engine like this, which not only works well, but features neat art themed after the anime. Speaking of which, I'm told by Leafbladie that he commissioned this art from someone named BatMed. So if you like it, perhaps consider checking them out. Links to their social media is somewhere down in the description. along with a zip file containing everything you need to add these to EDOPro. I didn't know you could do that. I actually don't know how to do it myself, and I have no interest in learning, but I'm sure a quick Google search or a polite question on the EDOPro Discord would find you some instructions if you're curious. Also, while I'm thanking people, I need to give a quick shout out to PyrQ? I don't know how to pronounce that. The name's on the screen. This is the person who actually did the coding for these cards. Pretty neat. Regardless, there's 2 more cards included in the support pack, a fusion and a spell, so let's go over those as well. That rhymed. The fusion is Arcana Poker Knight Joker. It's a contact fusion of the 3 Poker Knights with a whopping 3,800 attack, and once per turn, as a quick effect, you can discard a card, target a face-up card you control, and make it unaffected by monsters, spells, or traps until the end of the turn. It's a pretty nice boss monster, useful as a backup if you don't have any Egyptian gods to summon, or really just good on its own. In fact, I could see this thing being a far greater use for the poker engine than the Link, since you can make it without using your normal summon, and it can protect other boss monsters you control from card effects. The first thing that pops into mind is imagine this alongside Red Eye's Dragoon, but that thing can't be targeted by either player, so this wouldn't really help with that, but maybe this with a Borreload Savage Dragon or something, or this to protect your Eldritch. Does Eldritch want protection? I don't really know that much about that deck. Again, let me down in the comments what you would combine this with if you think this is a really good engine to throw into other decks. Either way, I don't think this is broken by any means. It's probably on par with the Wind Witches making a destruction immune Crystal Wing without their normal summon, at least as far as usefulness goes. And while that can be pretty good, it doesn't really see any play anymore, so I doubt this would be meta relevant either. Still, you never know, people are trying to splash numerons into everything for some reason, so maybe this has some hidden usefulness I'm unaware of. Oh, also, this thing has a floating effect when it leaves the field, where you can add a light monster from your grave to your hand, and a divine monster from your deck to your hand. Since Queen is a light monster who should be in the graveyard, this basically sets you up to do the same Poker Knight combo again next turn, but with a guaranteed Egyptian god to summon this time. Assuming you have another copy of King and Jack in the deck, of course. Fortunately, the last card in the set can help you with that. Game of Fate is a field spell, and like all the best field spells, it lets you search when it's activated, grabbing any Poker Knight from the deck. In addition, it says that the activated effects of Poker Knights and Divine Monsters can't be negated, and also, once per turn you can shuffle 2 Poker Knights from your grave back into the deck, and then do one of these 3 things. Either draw a card, gain 2,000 life points, or summon 2 Disciple tokens, which are light, level 4 fairy tokens with 1,100 attack and 600 defense. And if that wasn't enough, this last effect is boosted if you control one of the Egyptian gods. So if you control Slifer, then you can draw 2 cards instead of 1. If you have Ra on your side of the field, then the life point gain becomes 4,000 instead of 2,000. And if you tribute the tokens for Obelisk's effect, you can inflict 2,000 burn damage to your opponent. Overall, I like the field spell. It does everything you could want it to, but it feels just a little too bloated, you know what I mean? The recycling to get one of 3 effects is really nice, and it's cool that the effects get better when you have the gods. It's an interesting bit of game design that incentivizes you to actually use the gods instead of making Poker Joker, and it themes well with what each god is trying to do. The other effects on top of that, though, seem a little much. I don't think it should give you a search and make all your effects spell speed 4. Probably just one or the other. Granted, it's not like the Egyptian gods would be meta even with something like this. I don't think it's broken or anything. I just think the effect is a little bit bloated. It could perhaps be split into 2 different cards. That's the thing about custom cards, though. It's really hard to win in the minds of players. If you design something that can easily beat the meta, people will say it's broken. And if you design something that can't beat the meta, people will say it's useless. If you want to make something truly outstanding, you've got to design it so it's right on the cusp of being meta. Which is a moving target since the march of power creep halts for no man. Or woman, for that matter. Regardless, overall, I'd say these 5 cards did a pretty decent job of balancing things out. This is functional Egyptian god support that makes the old anime favorites more powerful and more consistent, while also giving them a new playmaker in the form of the fusion. I can't really say there's anything wrong with them, nor can I say they're broken. If I had to give them a rating, I'd say a solid 4 out of 5. Their only real flaw is that they aren't all that interesting. Aside from the fusion's effect, they don't do anything new or exciting. It's mostly just putting monsters on board, recycling them, and giving some blanket protection. It works, but it's not all that fun, which is part of the reason we play this game after all. Anyway, that's all I had to say on the matter. Let me know if you enjoyed this weird little thing. Maybe I'll do more card reviews in the future? Probably not, but we'll see. You never know where life will take you, man. Either way, thanks for coming. Special thanks to Leafbladie for commissioning something new and different, even if it's outside of my comfort zone. And until next time, good luck and have fun.